I know we're
Slightly safe.
I don't want to be on TV.
There we.
Got a wide angle.
Now she moved it.
You're gonna be either way, Judge.
You'd be right.
There won't be too many corners you can hide in except down the hall.
This is ridiculous.
It's already on, so she has you scurrying like a rat.
I think it's, yeah, I don't know
Or can
how
I
I
hide
did
in
that.
the
You're
van under the
live.
desk?
Okay, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And welcome everybody. There's agendas on the table if you don't have one. And we have minutes from September 17th.
I move that we accept the minutes for the last meeting. I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? None appearing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And I don't believe we have any road encroachments. Okay. Dissolution funds comments update.
I added up the comments, Jim. We got 39 comments, which was fantastic. And I didn't tabulate. I mean, there were so many different responses, I didn't tabulate them, but now if you want to look through them, you're certainly welcome to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and being as we have the judge here, we'll take that jail diversion program. Pete, we want to take that, please?
Yeah, so Danny Arps works for whatever she works for. So there's some COVID money that was set up for a jail diversion plan, in which it does, if somebody qualifies, if a defendant were to qualify for, say, alcohol monitoring bracelet or breathalyzer, or a GPS monitor or house arrest, it's designed to divert people from being incarcerated. And you know, the people kind of have to qualify, so it's not just a everybody thing. And Glacier County does it now, and I think it's working pretty good. For the most part, the sheriff's offices administer it, since they usually are administering the detention centers. But I think since it's all COVID and Paula's already dealing with all that, that part of it, paperwork's gonna go through her. And then Joe and Jen and I are we're the ones that make the decision who gets the bracelets anyway, or who needs it, and we'll get input from Keith. So I think it's a pretty good gig, and I don't know if how long it'll last. I think it's designed to end the end of the year, but who knows. But if we can, every day of the week, it seems like we have somebody that we think needs one of those but can't afford it. You know, the initial fee to get set up is you gotta pay everything up front, or the first month up front. So a setup fee of $50, and then depending on which device, it's plus or minus $10 a day. So, and then if the guy comes from Conrad to do it, they charge mileage. So it could cost up to $465 just initially to get hooked up. So I think it'll be a good thing. And I think I saw an email with all the updated contracts. Is that what you have, Joe? Did Paul give you those?
Yeah, we got the updated contracts. We printed them off right before the meeting.
Yeah, they came last night late, I think, or whenever. So I think it's just a formality for these guys to approve it, and then we can proceed with it that way. And
So this will cover that $50 upfront cost and the $10 a day, so that
yep,
people will have no cost.
that's the way I see it.
Okay.
And if there is a cost, it won't be the full amount, but I think that's the way I see it. I don't know exactly how it all works yet. So we'll just see.
Well, if Glacier County's doing it, it's gotta be a good deal.
Yeah, and I think it's working okay.
So in that light, I would move to approve this grant.
I'd second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the jail diversion program grant. Is there any further discussion? None appearing, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Health Department contracts. And I believe this one is an amendment for the FEP program. And the reduction in funding of $5,183. The new grant total is $320,586.
And what was the first number, Jim?
5183. That's Amendment 1. Amendment 2, an additional $91,811.84 annually for 2 years, which will start to receive as soon as they notify FEP we have hired a new COVID-19 staff person.
And this is all still in FEP?
Yes. And then there's a PHSIO Public Health System Support Unit contract. This is a new contract for $10,000 to help us hire a consultant for our community health needs assessment.
So do you want those all in one motion?
I think we can, they're all health department stuff.
So I make a motion to accept Amendment 1, Amendment 2, and the contract for 10,000.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve these amendments, 2 amendments in this new contract. Is there any further discussion? None appearing, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we're down to the Community Needs Health Assessment. I believe we only have one proposal, and it's from an outfit called Yarrow.
Can you spell that, Jim?
Yeah, YARROW. Let's see. And that budget for that is $10,875. And the timeline that they have proposed, the final report will be completed in April of 2021.
Move to accept the proposal from Laurel.
I'll second it.
And moved and seconded to approve the proposal from Yarrow to do the Community Needs Health Assessment. Any further discussion? I might just add that this is kind of a, every so many years we have to do that. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Chair over here, Annie, if you want
Right
one.
next to you, huh?
That takes us down to the CRS, which,
We just did the community needs
Oh, did you? Okay,
self-assessment.
we're all good?
yeah, and this is the
Yep, okay.
outfit. And CRS is not what you think it stands for.
It's not what you have?
What does it stand for? Correctional,
Risk Services. And this is a program through MACO. If, say we have somebody in jail and they have need heart surgery, this will pay for it. Doesn't come out of our pocket, it's insurance, and it's been a pretty good program.
we've been doing it for,
Several years.
And the fee didn't increase, right?
No, it's 91 cents per inmate per day. And then if they have a mental or nervous disorder and we want treatment, that's 3 cents an inmate per day. And based on some conversations we've had at Commissioner Convention, some counties have really benefited from this. Because once they're in custody, their health needs are on our dime.
So this is a proposal, or do you want a motion to accept the,
I would entertain a motion to accept.
I would move to accept the CRS agreement?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agreement with Correctional Risk Services. Any further discussion?
Jim, do you have any idea how much we paid last year for this service? I mean, because it changes based on inmate numbers.
I don't, but I can probably get that number for
the
you.
rate was the same, but I'm not, our inmate numbers have been pretty high the last 2 years.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Keith would know.
Keith, yep, you can get that from Keith's budget.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And just one other clarification, are we signing up for both medical and behavioral health?
Yes.
Yes.
The two?
I
Okay,
talked to
yep.
Keith yesterday, and that's what we've been doing the last few years, so.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Now you can vote.
Further discussion? None appearing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Takes us down to the Health Department cleaning proposal. And I believe we just have one. It's from Sarah Clark, Clark's Cleaning Service. It's 160, this is for the Health Department. $160 per month for weekly cleaning after hours. And if there's any special cleaning needs, such as carpet cleaning, it'll be $25 per hour plus equipment and supplies. And I might add that the normal cleaning products will be supplied by the health department. And there is a copy of her independent contractor exemption certificate. And it's good through September of 21.
I'd move to accept the RFP from Sarah.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the health department cleaning contract with Clark's Cleaning Services. Any further discussion? None appearing. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. That takes us down to commission reports. I went next door just before the meeting. It's been on the news, the number of ballots, percentage of ballots that have been sent out and returned. They sent out 3,945 ballots. So far, there's been 2,005 returned and accepted. So we're a little over 50%. 2 weeks left to go.
Jim, does that report say whether we've had to contact any of those voters for problems with their signatures or anything?
There was, and you might want to go next door to clarify, but there was 65 voided for whatever reason. I know we had a gal come in that her granddaughter was playing secretary and shredded a couple. There's 82 that are undeliverable, and there was 38 that were reissued.
Okay. Which could overlap with the 65.
Yeah. And if you need more depth on that,
I'll call Paula.
I guess, under Commissioner, Jim and I were invited by Steve Daines to testify on the grizzly bear. They wanted people that had actually been dealing with them. And we went down last Friday and testified at Great Falls about our experience on the ground. And there was about 10 people there, Jim.
yeah, no agency people. It was all people that had a direct impact with the bears. Okay, anything else?
Erling Jewell from GID came in last week. He thought our meeting was on last Thursday and he couldn't be here today, but he said he would come back. But he needs some information on Sun River Bridge that they're replacing. And there's some different fundings that may have to come or be supported by county or state, other than just GID. So he'll be back to explain all of that. And they're in the process of replacing a siphon deal under one of the canals right now.
Yeah, and I might add, that's above Tunnel Lake on the
Yeah, that's a
Fish
good
and Supply Canal. There was an ad in both Canada and the Sun Times, how long that was gonna take them. Alrighty, anything else? That takes us to public comment.
So Jim, did you read through that needs assessment, the community needs assessment at all? I mean, is it primarily a survey? They're gonna send out a survey?
So we've actually completed, yes, they're gonna send out the survey to the stakeholders. We've completed seven or eight key informant or focus groups meetings. And that was kind of then when we got waylaid by COVID. So we sent them, we have all the secondary data collected. So that's all kind of the state and local data you can get from different spots online. And so we sent them all the information for the groups, and so they'll compile that and send out the survey. And then do the focus groups after that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this needs assessment is the basis for a lot of programs that could come down the pike later.
Yeah. So in 2017, I think the top needs were mental health services, transportation services, and then addiction, basically drug and alcohol use. And so that was kind of where the CARES team came out of that. So, yep.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'll be on public comment.
Yep.
The only thing I can say is make sure you vote.
I'm Heather McCartney Duty, and I'm here with all my supplies. I'm here on behalf of Family Connections. We're a child care resource and referral agency that works with the state of Montana under Early Childhood Services Bureau. We have a contract with them under DPHHS. So that's how the chain of command goes. In the last year, they reassigned roles in our agency to include outreach, consumer, and community outreach positions. And so I moved from being a professional development specialist to working more in larger community venues. And one of the things that we want to really support in communities is understanding how significant early childhood is, not only for the child involved, but also for the communities that help raise, the communities, villages, and groups that help raise that child and get them to their formal education. And why this is innovative and interesting is that prior to very recently, we could not measure cognitive development in infants and toddlers. You know, if you can envision what an MRI scan looks like, they're massive, they're huge, and kids don't hold still. And they now have this beautiful device out of the University of Washington that allows a child to sit on their caregiver's lap, and it just sits right down on top of the child's head, and they can measure as they do different activities, as well as watch them over time to see what the brain architecture looks like. And so one of the things we want to really emphasize is how critical those first 5 years are, and why. What happens actually physiologically that's uncontrollable by what kind of family you come from or where you live. One of the companies that's helping with this effort is called Vroom. It's vroom.org, as opposed to vroom.com is an auto parts store. But vroom.org, and this is a free app for parents, caregivers, grandparents. Oh, Annie has already got it on her phone. Awesome promo. Thank you, Annie. That helps, it's a free download, and you can also access it on personal devices such as tablets or computers. And what it does is, given the age of the child, and I have some physical samples as well, is a parent can enter the age of the child, and every day at whatever time the parent says, it'll just ping your phone, and then an activity will come up. So today, for example, if the child was 0 to 1, they'd say, at bedtime, talk to your child about the weather today and what it meant for you. Today was cold. I wish I'd worn a heavy jacket because I was outside all morning. So that's the task. Then, if you're interested, it tells you about the science, about what happens in that child's brain when you do just such a conversation. It says talking about everyday activities helps build children's vocabulary, communication skills, and their brains. And so for every age, and you'd be welcome to look through this, up to age 5, they have these activities that parents can do. And what is beautiful about it is it doesn't require the parents to go buy any materials. It says, or caregivers or grandparents. You can do it wherever you're doing it, whether you're in the kitchen, at a bedtime routine, etc. And so the reason it becomes is that what we know about the brain in young children now is vastly different than what we knew even 10 years ago. So for example, and this is a play along if you'd like, true or false, at birth the infant's brain is the most mature organ in the body. What would you guess?
Probably not.
It's not. It's the most immature organ. Of all the organ systems, the brain is the least developed. True or false, a young child's brain develops gradually during the first 3 years of life.
Probably not gradually. I would say that's more than gradual.
It's more than gradual. In fact, the surge in our whole lifetime happens in the first 2,000 days of life. How the baby's brain will develop is its foundation for learning is sculpted by the relationships the baby experiences. So when we talk about equipping parents and caregivers with the very best information on how to interact with their children. These are foundational, and if these are not put in place, we'll show you what happens, and I have a very cool activity to do very quickly. We know that by the age of 5, children's brains have grown to 90% of their full size. So most of your architecture is in place before you even go to formal schooling. And so this is why it's important to make sure those young years are tended to. So for the 3 commissioners, we have brain scan images. And if you can think, based on the information that you just learned,
You're gonna give me a blank one.
organize them
Looks like a jumbled up mess to me.
from newborn to age 5 and see if you can put them in order. And these are actual brain scans of infant to age 5. And this is the architecture of the brain. These are neuron maps. So they're actual pictures of the brains of these children. And see if you could get them in order. You didn't even know you're going to have a pop quiz today. So Jim got us started off by saying the brain is the least developed. And they're color coded just because we've got it black and white. It's not as interesting.
So most developed to the back? Is that how
To
you-
the back or to the end. If you want to lay them across your desk, that's fine too. I will sanitize them afterwards for the next class. All right, so here we go. Newborn, the light pink with the least amount. Did you get the newborn in that order? That was your first one, okay? Then your next one's going to be green with a little bit more. That's 1 month old, okay? Then 3 month old is going to be about a light blue, a little bit more. Okay. And 6 months, you're starting to see some density in there. 6 months old, right?
The purple?
Then 1 year old, yeah, it looks like a periwinkle purple. And this might be slightly different than your card. Then 1 year is like an orangish.
What's the blue one?
Then 2 years old, we're moving up into dark green. A lot more density, right? You're seeing at 2 years old. And think about 2-year-olds. That's when they're telling you what you're going to do, not what they're going to do, right? Because they have some autonomy. 4 years old, the pink. And then the last one is the blue.
Really? Whoop, I had
Now,
that.
why is that?
I had the last two reversed.
Most people do. Why is that? What happens just before children go to kindergarten is the brain goes through a very natural process called pruning. And it gets rid of any networks that are not frequently used. And so the reason we really emphasize getting the most pieces of architecture put in place before a child enters kindergarten and formal schooling is because the body's going to take care of it if we don't.
It must be like when they go to Washington. DC.
Well, you got
Now, this
that.
also happens at another time. So when you're talking about community health assessments and mental health supports, why we have the PACS Good Behavior game in schools, right around adolescence before teen years, this happens again in children. And so that's often when you see mental health needs and behavioral supports increase in that age group because sometimes the brain does too good of a job in pruning and will take away things that the children actually need. So, I want to thank you for your time and for your investment in all the supports that our community needs regarding families and children. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for that. And on a related note, yesterday I had an Opportunities Inc. board meeting. COVID is really whacking Opportunities Inc. They're having 36% absenteeism due to COVID in their staffing, and they're really having to make some adjustments, moving people around to cover spots, and the Head Start program has been hit pretty hard.
Yep. So what we're seeing in the region, so Family Connections, my role serves 10 north central Montana communities. So Glacier, over to Liberty, down to Ferguson, over this way. And then our sister region serves Hill County all the way to the Dakotas, and then back across to Lewistown. And we're seeing rolling closures of childcares where they have a positive exposure. And if you saw the the news release this week from Yale, what the interesting thing is that they found that childcares are not a danger to society, as in COVID doesn't breed in childcare areas. Childcare has lots of established protocols for cleaning and disinfecting, as well as health checks every day. What they find is that society is a menace to childcare. That people adults most often do not do their own health check, and so they're often the ones that bring it into the centers and home environments, and then that causes closures. What we are seeing though is good resilience. They're usually closed for about 2 weeks and then they're back in business. But the question remains, they've had some financial supports through the CARES Act that the governor released. All of that, as you know, comes to an end at the end of the year. If they experience more than one closure, we're not sure if they'll be financially viable or if employees will want to continue to work in a place that has rolling layoffs. So those are just some things that are in our mind and in the hopper right now as we look forward to supporting families and children, and how employers are doing that as well, assisting them in developing things so that people can keep working. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, I thank everybody for coming, and our next meeting will be the 5th of November, and we stand adjourned.
So we're good to go with this?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
You know, I had a guy tell me the other day that, are we off the air?
Hold on just a second.
You gotta be careful with the scans on the forehead.
Oh, yeah.
He went in to get some bread and milk,